Hello everyone, I'm back again with another lecture. So for this lecture, lecture number 8, and we will take a look now at petrochemicals. Okay, how people sample petrochemicals and what are some of the equipment that is used in the industry. Okay, hopefully you roughly know what is petrochemical after this lecture, why is it important, okay, and hopefully you also know some of the instrumentation used, okay, and some of the sampling application in the industry. Okay, so it's all about petrochemicals in this lecture. So petrochemicals are chemical products, obviously, derived from crude oil. That means they burn the crude oil to break down into many parts. Okay, but petrochemicals can also be obtained by other fossil fuels such as coal or natural gas, or even renewable energy sources from corn or sugarcane are also considered, okay, as one of the petrochemicals. This is an example here is ethanol from corn. So basically, corn, or in certain countries they call it maize. Okay, so they break down the sugars in corn, okay, and it's broken down by a fermentation process to ethanol, and then this ethanol is used in the vehicles to run the vehicles. Besides corn, you can also use sugarcane, same thing, because of the sugars in the sugarcane. So you again use it. Okay, but for this case, the ethanol is in sugarcane, right? Is actually a byproduct of production to get sugar. Okay, it's just a byproduct. But anyway, it still can be used as biofuels to run the vehicles. Okay, especially in Brazil, because they have a lot of sugarcane there. Okay, so you can see here the breakdown of crude oil just by heating it. You have various components from the very light end, which is your gas, okay, down to the next heavier one, petrol, heavier one again, naphtha, kerosene, diesel, okay, and finally the heavy stuff here, lubricating oil, fuel oil, very dark and black, thick oil, and last but not least, the bitumen, the road tar. Okay, so this is the thickest of them all. So a lot of products can be made from the various cuts of the crude oil. These are some of the petrochemicals, and of course there are derivatives that can be produced from crude oil. First one is ethylene. This is a gas. It's the simplest olefin. Okay, this is an alkene. That means two bond, double bond. Okay, so double bond, and it can be used to make other chemicals. Okay, and also to for as a ripening of your fruits. Okay, that means the hormones, right? It accelerate the hormones in the fruits to ripen, because certain fruits, right, it has to be shipped by ship to the country, and then it takes a while to reach. So usually when they do this, they will take those unripe, for example bananas, they will it will be unripe first. When they ship, it will only be ripened at the destination. So when these bananas which is unripe reach the destination, what they do is they add in a little bit of ethylene, and then it will start to accelerate the process of ripening. So by the time you eat it, it is already ripened. Okay, and ethylene gas is also polymerized to make plastic, which is your polyethylene, and it can also be made into ethanol, and also it can be used to produce ethylene oxide. Ethylene oxide is a disinfectant. Okay, it's a dangerous gas, but because it's a good disinfectant, it can be used to sterilize surgical tools and so on, so that it is free from microorganisms and infection and so on. Okay, so they can disinfect using ethylene oxide. You can also use a sterilizer, okay, to disinfect your equipment. Okay, autoclave. they call it, to sterilize your equipment. But because autoclave uses heat, okay, the steam to sterilize. But because some tools are heat sensitive, they cannot do this. So what they do is they use ethylene oxide to disinfect. Then we have the three carbon chain one, which is called propylene. So same thing again, it can be used as a monomer. Later when we do polymer, you can know better what is monomer. So basically you can polymerize this guy, propylene to polypropylene, which is a plastic. Okay, and it can also be made into IPA, isopropyl alcohol, ACN, propylene oxide, okay, and acrylic polymers, and so on. So a lot of products can be made from propylene also. And then you have the C4. C4 are mainly all those LPG, liquefied petroleum gases. Okay, very volatile. Okay, so it's for butanes, butyrenes, butadiene, and so on. Okay, butadiene, yes. Butanes are more in the LPG. And then you have bigger molecules like your polyolefins can be used to make lubricants. There's detergent alcohols. Then your benzene, your classic circular ring here. Okay, one ring here, six carbon inside. And benzene can then be used to make other, okay, beneficial chemicals like ethyl benzene, cumene, okay, and then yeah, to make isopropyl benzene, which is another name for cumene. This is the process, no need to memorize lah. Huh? Then you have your toluene. Toluene is a benzene ring with a CH3 group attached to it. That's why it's called methyl. Methyl is a CH3 group. So it's CH3 attached to a benzene ring. It's formerly known as toluol. Okay, it can be used to make paint thinners. So the smell is very nice. Okay, I think last time people like to sniff this glue. Okay, but no good for your health. Okay, and then you have your mixed xylenes. Mixed xylenes by itself not so useful, but it can be used to make many other products. Okay, so methyl benzene toluene is a one CH3 group, while xylene is a C2H5, so two carbon chain attached to your benzene ring. So this is used in the printing, rubber, and leather industries. Okay, this is a summary of some of the useful things, okay, of petrochemicals that can be used to make all these useful products. So mainly petrol product are useful materials that is derived from crude oil. So you break down the crude oil, right? So you can make all the just now all the examples that you see earlier. Okay, this is one of the main function of a petroleum product as an energy carrier. That means you burn it and you get energy from it, and then you can use it this energy like for run your vehicles and so on. Okay, so it can be like in gasoline, can jet fuel, diesel fuel, and all these fuels. Okay, the heavier ones can be then be used to make tar on the road, okay, wax and so on. And just now you saw, right, the propylene and ethylene can be used to make plastics, polyethylene and polypropylene plastics. There's a little bit of sulfur. This content depends on which region your crude oil is taken from. Okay, some region has higher sulfur, some region has lower sulfur. Okay, petroleum coke. This one they break down the less useful, in a way, big molecule into smaller, more useful molecules. Okay, they break it down to smaller molecules, and then they hydrogenate it. Okay, to get the smaller, more useful molecules. Hydro desulfurization, from the word here, desulfurization means is to remove the sulfur lah. Okay, because we don't want the sulfur in the process. Okay, sulfur, if it's in your fuels, when you burn it, it's not so good lah, because it's involved as SO2, which is not good for the environment. So they remove the sulfur. Okay, some sampling equipment, that means the equipment that you use to collect your petroleum products. Okay, so you can collect it either in the tank, Okay, there's bigger tank than this. Okay, and from the ship, from pipelines. Okay, so sample equipment should be compatible with the product sample. Obviously, it should not react with the sample. These are some equipment that you can use: cage sampler and just some bottle or beaker which is weighted. There are different types of sampling techniques that you can use to collect. Okay, first one is close sampling. This one, right? If you take it from the tank, you cannot open the hatch on the tank. Okay, it is closed condition. There's no way to take it. Okay, so basically there should be some kind of adapter. Okay, so some kind of valve for you to insert, and then the sample will be discharged there, but it won't be exposed to the environment. Okay. Next one is open sampling. This one straightforward. You just go on top of the tank, open the gauge, open the hatch, okay, and then just lower down your bottle to collect, okay, your sample. Restricted. Okay, this one is like in the middle, basically between close and open. Okay, you can take, but when you take, right, it all this vapor will be minimized from being exposed to the atmosphere. That means it won't be lost to the atmosphere. For example, like open sampling, right? You open the hatch, a lot of the product may evaporate off. Okay, so this one is you minimize this loss. It's not say you completely close like close sampling. It's slightly, so the idea is to minimize as much loss as possible, but it's still slightly open. Running sample, this one, if you want to take a representative sample that represent the whole tank instead of just at the surface or at the bottom of the tank, what you do is you slowly lower the bottle down until near the bottom, and then you pull it up back again. So it's like a flow like that. Okay, you lower your bottle, the container down. So it was as it is lowered down, a little bit of the sample slowly start to go inside the container. So then you continue to go down and slowly more sample go in. And then once you reach near the bottom, you lift it up back again. So in this way, you can get samples all along the various depths of the tank. Okay, that's called a running sample. Both direction through the total height of the liquid in the tank. Spot sample is just at a certain particular place that you take and a particular time. That's all. Okay, either you take it from the tank or at the pipeline at a certain spot at a certain time. That's all. This is a cage sampler. Okay, so by itself is not much use. But you need to attach a bottle in the opening here. Okay, this is a metal, but it's a spark reducing metal because petrochemical products are generally easily catch fire. Okay, they have low boiling point also. So yeah, we don't want any spark to be produced here, and if not, then your liquid will catch fire and explode. So we don't want that. So your metal use must be spark reducing metal. Okay, this one can be used in any situation that we see just now. Can be from spot sampling, running sample. Okay, it can be in storage tank, can be lorries, etc., etc. So very simple. Just attach your bottle here, and then you need to attach some kind of line or rope or string on top here. Then you lower it into your desired depth, how deep you want it to be. Or if you want to do running sample, then you slowly go all the way down, then you pull it up back again. Okay, if you want to take at a certain height, certain depth, then you don't open the cover or the cork first. Okay, until you reach the desired depth or level, then you pull. So if you pull, then the cork will be removed, and then of course your sample will start to rush into the bottle or container. Okay, so you can also use a weighted bottle or beaker. Okay, this one you need some weight. Okay, this is an example here. Or If the bottle is a metal, then there'll be some weight there already lah. So basically, this weight here, if you use a glass one, it will be also, you need some weight there to make sure it can go down. If not, it will just float on the surface only. So you need something to attach to make it go down the tank. Okay. So if this metal is like that, then it should be spark reducing metal again lah. Okay, so just attach a line again. So maybe some string or rope here, lower, same thing. Okay, then if you reach the depth that you want, just remove the cork and then the sample will rush in. Okay, so if you want to do running sample, you don't want the sample to rush in immediately, right? Because you need to go at various levels of the tank, slowly go down and go up again. So your hole might, your cap might have a very small hole to restrict the liquid from quickly going inside. So you have time to lower it at all the various depths, and then you can pull it back up again. So hopefully by then most of the sample would have filled up into the bottle or container. So in order to obtain a representative sample, the best would be sample that can represent all the various depths. Okay, so the best technique is your running sample. Okay, so because you, in order to be representative, you need to take some sample from the top, okay, but not all the way at the surface. Upper, middle, and lower, but not all the way at the bottom. Okay, so we don't want to take at one here. Sorry, they want to take at three. This is at the surface. So maybe we should take around four, slightly below the surface. That's the best. And then we take the middle, this one straightforward. And then the bottom one, right? You don't take all the way at the bottom because sometimes, because petroleum is usually lighter than water, a lot of water that might be here or some contamination might be here. Okay, particles and so on. So we don't want that. If you take here, you will take all the contaminants maybe down here. So you take slightly above here. So 4, 5, and 7, this number here, these are the three best locations to take from. If you take a running sample, then it's okay. You just go down, then go up back again. But if you not taking it by running sample, you can take at 4, you can take at 5, you can take at 7. Then you combine all this together into one representative sample. Okay, some instrumentation used in the petrochemical industry, you have flow meters, pressure, level meters, temperature, and your lab analysis equipment. First one is your temperature. So please take note that they don't use thermometer. Okay, they use this called RTD. So resistance temperature detector. So because the material used is usually platinum. So in metals, right, different temperature will, they will have different resistivity in the metal. So by this, right, they can actually correlate to the temperature. Okay, so it's not by thermometer where the your liquid expand and contract and so on. Okay, it's by resistance. Okay, platinum RTD, resistance temperature detector. Then you have all the pressure gauges. Okay, that means they convert pressure and current and vice versa. Okay, so you can show the pressure anywhere lah, in your tank, in your pipelines, and it can be used for various products. It can be digital, analog. Analog is something like this. Digital is showing you the value. And this, because it can easily convert from pressure to current and back to pressure, can actually run this all the way back to your control room. So you don't need to go out to the field there to check your pressure. Okay, it can be relayed by wire, by current all the way, and then into your control room, which will indicate the value. Flow meter is to show the flow. Okay, because it's in the pipeline here, you cannot just open up and say, oh yeah, there's nice flow inside. No, because some is very volatile. You open on it, all start to come out. Then how do you know how much flow is inside there? Use a flow meter. Okay, because oil products like petrochemicals, most of them are volatile, so you cannot just open the hatch here to see inside the pipe there. Oh, okay, nice, all flowing very well. No, cannot. So you have to attach a flow meter that shows you what is the flow rate inside the pipe. Okay, so along the pipeline, right, occasionally you will see this flow meter to show you whether the flow is correct and whether it's running and so on. Level meter is to show you the level of the product or liquid in the tank. Okay, you cannot expect every time ask some poor guy to climb up the tank and open the hatch and say, oh yeah, it's very full now. Oh yeah, it's half empty. Cannot, Okay, the guy will die very tired. So what you do is you have a level meter. Okay, this level meter then will indicate to you what is the level in the tank, whether it's full or half or empty and so on. Okay, you can use radar, which will reflect up the surface of the liquid, and then from the angle you can actually tell what's the level inside. Okay, magnetostrictive is by magnetic field, also similar to radar, but it's using magnetic field to check the level. And then this one is the simplest one, the float, which is magnetic also. So the float, it will float on the surface, right? So it will go up and down according to the level of the product. So from there, to gain from the magnetic field, you can actually tell what's the level in the tank. And then you have all these equipment, okay, like chromatography, gas analyzer to tell you the result, the data of your product. Okay, these are some of the application that people use. That's why they need to do sampling. Okay, when you transfer some product from one place to another, okay, they want to check whether it's okay or not. Then they use this. Okay, there's a lot of standards that people can follow. Okay, this one just for your info, lah. No need to memorize all this. So crude oil sometimes there's a mixture with liquid hydrocarbons, and usually this type of is found together in natural gas. So some of the characteristic is based by the density, whether it's a light one or heavy one, and the sulfur content. As I mentioned just now, different regions they have different sulfur content in the crude oil. Sulfur content is actually described by whether it's sweet or sour. Okay, this is just an indication to tell you that if it's sweet means it's low sulfur. If it's sour means the sulfur content is high. Condensate, the liquid portion also. Okay, you can sample that gas condensate. So it's present, okay, mixture of hydrocarbon liquids because condensed, right? Condensate. Then you have your LNG, liquefied natural gas. This is mainly made out of methane, CH4, okay, hydrocarbon. And because it's a gas, in order to make it easier for you to transport, okay, you convert it to liquid first, okay, so that it's easier for you to transport. So because of this, when you sample your LNG, you need to sample it at low temperature, because at low temperature it is more in liquid form, and high pressure. Okay, high pressure will also make the hydrocarbon gases in liquid form. This is the sampler that is used, LNG sampler. So basically you can attach this to your LNG process stream. Okay, and then when you open the valve, it will all rush in and will be stored here inside. And these are some of the other areas where sampling is used. Wet gas, bunker fuel, LPG, everything. Okay, these are just some of the common tests. There's a lot of tests in the petrol industry. Firstly, of course, is the color and appearance. So for petroleum products, right, it's very straightforward because if we don't want any moisture inside the product, okay, because we want the fuel. Okay, when you run your car, you don't want any water inside your fuel. Okay, so but for petrochem it's quite easy because if you see your appearance, it's cloudy means there's probably some moisture or some contamination. Usually it should be clear. Okay, so in the industry, we report it as B and C, bright and clear. This one is to measure moisture because I mentioned earlier, right? We don't want any moisture inside the petroleum product. So we measure the moisture. Okay, important this test. So because of the low moisture content, I don't know whether you remember your analytical chemistry module. There is a volumetric and coulometric coefficient. So the coulometric one is very good to measure low moisture content. Okay, doctor test is not you go doctor and get MC. Huh? Doctor test is remember just now the sulfur content sweet and sour. This one is to quickly tell you whether there's sulfur inside or not. Okay, so you add this chemical sodium plumite, so there's lead inside here. So when there is sulfur, right, it will react with the sulfur, this lead to become black in color. So if it's black, means sulfur is present. Okay, and if sulfur is present, it's reported as sour. And if it's absent, that means no change in color. That is called sweet. Okay, this one is the octane number. Okay, it measures the performance of engine fuel or aviation for flight. Okay, so the higher one is better lah. They say for high performance engine. Why is it called octane number? Because octane is used as the reference standard. So the higher the value, right? I don't know if those of you who drive or ride motorbike. So the higher it is, the higher performance it is, and it's of course more expensive. Okay. And this one is to check the pressure because most of your products are volatile anyway, so it creates pressure. So we have to monitor the pressure of the petroleum products. Okay, so ideally during winter months because it's cold, your vapor pressure should be high lah, because it's high then easier for your engine to ignite because there's a lot of vapor inside there. But if it's summer, right, very hot, we want it to be lower lah because it's already hot. Okay, we no need too much vapor pressure because when it's hot, there's a lot of vapor pressure, all start to evaporate. So we don't want this. So preferably for safety reason, it should be lower. All right, so that's that for petrochemical products. Thank you.